saw what happened in Cuba. I mean, the entire island
Yeah.
is completely out of power, and it gives you, you feel terrible for people in Puerto Rico who were just hit and Cuba who were just hit. Thank God we have better infrastructure in our country. We've put a lot of investment into making sure that we're ready for these things, but it's an act of nature, and you never know exactly what to expect.
Okay, so I don't know if you caught that little thing there from Martha MacCallum in her analysis of Hurricane Ian, but Puerto Rico is part of our country. And I don't know how many times that needs to be reiterated. It's true today, it's gonna be true tomorrow, in a year, it's probably gonna be true. You can just go forward assuming that it is not a foreign country, it's part of the United States. Now, maybe, Caroline, I'm being too harsh. It is possible that maybe she meant just the Cuba part, even though she listed both before she said in our country. Maybe she means continentally. She means part of our contiguous country. Am I being unreasonable?
There is no way that woman knows that Puerto Rico is a part of the United States. And it's like this happens every time. Like every time there is a hurricane or a natural disaster in Puerto Rico, it's like so much of our time is spent reminding people, especially people on the right, that no, this is on us as well. Like, yeah, the reason they don't have good infrastructure is our fault. Like we spend so much time having that conversation and having to reiterate that so little time can actually be spent acknowledging like what the particular challenges are of having Puerto Rico as a US territory, how it differs from the mainland United States. I mean, I think the theme of the day is like just conversations that need to happen about making people's lives better just cannot, because the level of discourse from like, left and right side of just cable news is like completely missing key facts that they need to understand.
Yeah, I certainly agree. And everybody's gonna react to it a little bit differently. Like I try, despite I'm sure right now on YouTube there's some Trump fan saying that I have derangement syndrome and I'm totally unfair to the right. I'm trying to extend understanding, like bearing in mind that Martha MacCallum was in that thing where she seemed to not get that Puerto Rico was part of the US. She was expressing concern for the people there. She didn't seem to want them to be suffering, so that's good. It's not a high bar. If that bar was in Florida, it'd be underwater right now. It's not super high, but she was being, I guess, a little bit compassionate, but this does potentially matter. Not if Martha MacCallum gets it, but if people understand the relationship between the US and places like Puerto Rico and other territories and things like that, it does matter. Because it becomes a lot easier to simply ignore what happens, especially in times of strife, like with natural disasters. To assert that whatever problems are over there are their problems, it's their debt problem, who cares? To resist just the idea that maybe at some point they might choose to become a voting portion, basically a full-on state. Like their visceral opposition to that is it's partly caused by the fact that they have been trained to think of it as a sort of weird foreign country that kind of hangs around off the coast or something. That's not what it is. And so hopefully she will learn something from this, and going forward, I sort of doubt it. But anyway, by the way, I want to give you the most recent updates. And bear in mind, with a hurricane, things are developing minute by minute, but it was downgraded to a tropical storm earlier today. Still declared a major disaster by President Biden. They will be using this federal aid to help. And I believe that Ron DeSantis has requested for some period, I don't know if it was 60 days or 1 month, that the federal government cover all of the disaster related costs, which that's part of what the federal government is for, is to take care of these sorts of things. And this will be a great opportunity for people like Ron DeSantis and conservatives in Florida to understand that concept, that this is why we need a government, a well-funded government, a capable, competent government, so that when Florida is devastated. They get every bit of help that they need instantly, and that they're not left just relying on Donald Trump to hopefully walk by and huck paper towels at them or something.
Oh my God.
In any event, as of right now, or as of this morning at least, 2.5 million customers in Florida were without power. And so the maximum sustained winds, by the way, had died. It says 65 miles per hour, which is still dangerous, but when it initially made landfall, I was seeing something like 150. So there has been significant progress. But Caroline, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting question. The discussion of how political leaders in states like Texas and Florida are, like 360 days of the year just constantly railing against if we have a Democratic president that they, are wasting so much money. And the same thing happened with Hurricane Sandy when Obama was president. And ultimately, like what kind of happened then, a lot of people speculate that the governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, like lost so much respect amongst Republicans when he basically admitted that Obama like did a really good job of coming in quickly and like bringing aid to the situation, which sort of set this pattern of like having bipartisan again support for relief in natural disasters like doesn't win political points. And on the left, we obviously do a good job of like stepping past that and acknowledging that like that's okay if you lose political points. But the right just like continues to make it so impossible. They're the ones railing against cancel culture and nobody is proud to be an American anymore. And yet their leaders are the ones who, in a situation when we could be really brought together, sort of are very hesitant to really put aside their politics and like create that unity. I do think DeSantis has taken a very, a mature approach to this, which should not be surprising, but really is. Like, I'm actually very surprised that he has given, or I don't know, like if giving Biden credit is the right way of saying it, but he, has spent the last few days really, really working with the administration, and it just sucks because we all know in a couple days or weeks that camaraderie is going to be totally ripped apart because again, it doesn't score him political points.
Yeah. I also, again, we're always going to be fair, and we're never going to get a shred of credit for being fair. But yes, look, I wouldn't say that DeSantis necessarily has given him credit. Maybe he has since, and I haven't seen it. I would say he hasn't relentlessly attacked Biden over this, which is something. And by the way, he was on, I think, Tucker Carlson last night, and Tucker Carlson was like trying to inspire a bit of drama in the same way that White House press corps, one reporter was trying to like bring up the drama to Karine Jean-Pierre, I think it was yesterday, and neither of them were biting it. And so that is good. That is how this should actually work. I agree, the second the ground dries, the knives are coming back out, but this is how it's supposed to work. And so I guess in this instance, DeSantis is marginally more, adult than Donald Trump.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.